Hello everybody, it's Susan here. Welcome to my channel. So this is my weekly video for the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, Volume 2 collaboration. And so I'm doing pretty well at this point. After today, I will be all caught up, but let me show you what I've done so far. So this... Okay, so this is sewn down. I have already sewn this. This obviously is the wreath onto this page. So I was going to sew this at the same time that I was going to sew this, which is my Christmas tree prompt. I made a belly band out of it. But I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and sew this on first. And then that's done, and then I just have to focus on this. Now, just to show you, so this is going to be my December daily for this year, and every year I always add a December calendar. And I put little notes on it, maybe like when I was baking cookies or wrapped presents or, you know, whatever, right? Whatever. And so, not right now, but at some point, I'll take out my December daily stuff and I'll like cover that up to make it, look a little prettier. But this will probably go in here. So that's what the belly band is for, to actually put something in and hold it. So just to show you that I found this and I'm like, that is like perfect. So then, so we have the feature prompt for August is a tab. To add a tab to somewhere on your block. So I really struggled with this, like a lot. Like I spent I think all day yesterday trying to figure out how to get a tab onto here, because I mean, you could put a tab elsewhere. It doesn't have to go on an edge of your page, but I wanted it, well, basically right where this is, right? So this is my tab, this little white piece of fabric. The thing is, it was, because you can see from this side too, it made it hard to do for whatever reason. And so like one of my options was to use this, and I didn't like the way that looked with this page, so I took that off. I even had this on at one point, this little piece, and then I was like, nah, I don't know. And so what I decided, I looked through my stash again of fabrics, and I have just this little piece. It's just a little scrap piece of fabric. I did not cut that. I found it in my stash like that. And I'm going to use that for my tab. So we're just going to go ahead and get that sewn down. So I want to sew that on before I sew this block down. So we're just going to do that real quick. Now, obviously, you're going to be able to see this thread, and that's okay. I think with the rest of it, when I go to sew the actual block down, I will probably use black thread. But for this, well, I should have gone up probably just a little bit, but I'm just going to keep going. But for this, it's, I like the look that you can tell it's sewn on there. And so we'll get that. So that's going to be my tab. I had pulled out buttons, I pulled out flowers, I pulled out little charms. Like this is a little charm of a pine cone. Like how cute is that? So I'm going to keep that out because hopefully I'll get that onto a page at some point. But, like even this, I was thinking, I don't know. I was just trying all different things to to figure out how I was going to do this tab. And this was by far my favorite option. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this off, and then we'll talk about how I'm going to sew this block onto this page. And I don't think I'm going to do the whole thing with, you know, on video or anything, but at least the tab is done. It's on there. You know what, I do need to just trim the end of it right here. And it was like the, I don't know exactly what it was from, but it's obviously a little piece of something that I had cut off. Okay, so that's done. So I have my tab. And I don't mind it at all from this side. I mean, I guess because it's maybe close in color with the thread on here, maybe that's why. But I'm good with that. So now let's get some thread. So this is pearl size 8 thread, and it's new. And oh, there we go. And let's get this. Okay, so we got it. We got it going. I'm just going to find a needle. And let's go ahead and thread this. And I think if I can do it successfully, my thought is that I will sew it to where, I don't know, I was just going to say I'll sew it to where it would be invisible on the front of the block. But I don't know that actually that it would bother me to actually see the stitches. I think that would kind of be nice. So then I'm not going to worry about it. But what I am going to do, I want to show you, is when I go to stitch this block onto the page, I'm just going to first get my needle in there, right? So this is the page. Oops, I forgot to knot it. Oopsie daisy. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and just get that in there. And then what I do is I'm going to come up through here, go down. Now I have to make sure I'm down far enough. So see, this block is a little taller than the page. And I did that on purpose. So what I'm going to do is go through here, and you can actually feel it. Like I'm not going through all the way to the opposite side, but I can feel that I'm grabbing actually several layers of fabric. So I know that this is going to be secure because I can feel that it's going through layers, because it, you know, you have the page, right, which is that white, and then I have a couple layers of lace, and I also have the green fabric from the other side. So there's lots to grab onto to secure this down. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sew under this, because I don't want to sew this red piece down. So let me just make sure I have that flat. And I'm probably just going to put 2 or 3 stitches under the red piece. Again, I just want to make sure it's in the right spot before I stitch it down. Okay, so that's good. So it's sewn under there. And then I'm just gonna continue around. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's how I'm going to get this block down. And then I wanna show you, so again, I'm not gonna spend the time to do this whole thing with you, but you guys can see. And again, I have this finger underneath right where I'm stitching. You see that the page is actually laying on that finger. So when I stitch like this, I can feel if the needle is starting to come through the other side, and I can actually feel like how many layers I'm going through, like how thick it is, or how thin it is. So it's just interesting, it's really, sometimes, I don't know, I guess I just want to say that, it doesn't have to be super difficult. Sometimes it is, though, like the tab. That was difficult for me, was the tab. It just takes me back to, and I think a lot of you might giggle at this, but it takes me back to the very first prompt in January. The bouncing bunny. Who remembers the bouncing bunny? It took me days, if not a week, to find a bunny in my stash. I looked through my rubber stamps. I looked through everything, all of my fabric multiple times, and I did not have a bunny. And and I'm like, I'm not buying anything for this. I have a good stash of stuff. And it's like, you're kidding me. You mean to tell me and I was just starting stitching at that time, so I didn't feel like brave enough. In fact, I did try to where, you could even, like, whether it was printing or you drew your own bunny outline and, and then you stitched it. Well, I was just learning to stitch back then. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. So that was not a good option for me. So I ended up with a bunny. It was what's her name? Kathy. Her last name. She designs different fabrics. I don't know why I can't think of her last name. But anyways, so she has like a lot of fabrics that are just like a lot of squares of different things. And I ended up with like an inch long, little piece that had a bunny on it. And that was my bunny. And it stressed me out like a lot. Well, this tab is in second place for the stress factor. But it's all good. I mean, it's fine. It works out, right? Is it exactly what you were hoping for? Or, maybe that's not the right way to say it. I think maybe the right way to say it is that not what you're hoping for, but you get to the point where it's like, okay, just come up with something. Right? Oh my gosh. But I mean, that's what is really fun about, a challenge, a collaboration like this, is you get out of your comfort zone. And that's how I learn. I mean, even I'm retired now, but when I was working, oh my gosh, the challenges I love. You're like, oh, I don't know how we're going to do that. But then you do it and, you really have to use your imagination and your brain, and it's almost like, well, the answer is never, I can't do it. You just have to find the way to do it. So that's always been kind of my philosophy. But what I don't know, when they first said the tab as the feature, I was like, oh, that's gonna be easy. Not. But anyway, I like the look of this. I'm glad I found that little piece of fabric. And I just want to see, this is going to be really thin. There's only the page and this green piece of fabric on the other side. So this is going to be, I just want to make sure I'm not going through to the other side. So I guess maybe I am sewing it with you. Yeah, so we're going to get this down together. Now, you can always come back, like the first Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, I had lace on the edge and sometimes the top of every single page. And this is just a whole different approach for me. It's a whole different ball game. And for me, with having the 2 prompts plus a feature every month, this is how I'm able to, keep up and enjoy the process. It was to simplify. So that's when I decided to use this for my December daily, this December. And I'll be adding pictures to it and some journaling and that kind of thing. And I'm making it almost like it's like I would if it was a journal made out of paper. So, yep, like I made it the tag in July, and the wreath I'm going to probably add a photo inside of in December. And you guys know that this is going to go here. I'll fancy it up just a little bit. Like, I don't want Boys Town on there. So I'll cover that up with a piece of ephemera. But yeah, all right. So that is my tree block, my tree prompt, done. So the day that this goes out, I think is the day where they will tell us our next prompt. Yes, for the last, I don't know. I think so. But anyway, so that's good. So this whole page is all sewn on, and I'm good with that. And I want to show you just real quick before I hop off what I'm doing with my cover. So I did cut this piece of fabric, the poinsettias, and it kind of ends right here. Now, could I, do something a little different? I could, but I'm going to use this that I fussy cut out. And what I'm going to do, in fact, we can kind of cut this together. And I've been making everything, or most everything, just a little bit longer than I need it because, I don't know, because you can always cut it down, right? So it's a beautiful wide piece of lace. It's at least 3.5 inches, maybe 4. So what's going to happen is once I have my pages sewn in the book, so this is like a signature, right? This is a signature. And it will be sewn onto the block in the middle here. And so you are going to be able to see that sewing from the outside. And so to cover it up, what I'm going to do is this is going to go here and actually around to the back. So, and again, it's a little bit long, but but you get the feel, right? So that's what my cover is going to look like, is that. And look at how pretty it looks with the lace coming out. You can see the tab. I'm really liking that look. I think it looks super pretty. So one of my next steps is to sew this onto the front cover. And I'm even going to sew down just this one side of this lace, just one, because I can't sew the other end until all of my pages are in. But that will be sewn on the back. So once that's on there, once I get the flowers and that lace sewn, then I can go ahead and sew my first block onto that page. So that's my journal. That's what I'm doing. Yep. So far so good. I like it, and I'm excited to see what the next prompt is. It's getting a little chunky, which I like. It's getting a little chunky. But that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you next Wednesday. And yeah, so have a wonderfully blessed rest of your week. All right, bye-bye, everybody. Oh, yeah. Oh, and Rachel and Sarah's YouTube channel links are below in my description box. I want to thank them for, I mean, this takes time to coordinate all of this. I know it does. And just want to thank them for all of their time, for all of us. It's been great. So, all right, bye-bye, everybody.